When I was a kid, my parents told me a fool doesn't learn anything. A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. Hi, I'm James, and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Meri and how she was actually an example for her fellow sister wives and how to escape the Brown family trap. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you get anything from the channel, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out, it helps me out, and hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and hit that HBO special down below and the subscribe button and leave a take. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Let's get it. We have to understand where Meri is coming from. How long has Meri been involved with the Brown family? According to Meri, she's been involved with this Brown family for over 30 years. In fact, let's hear what she has to say about it.
I helped start this family.
That's right. Meri was one of the founders of this whole experiment. When push comes down to shove, Kody, he takes the full mantle of it. Oh, I was the architect and I was the leader and I was the guy who came in and patriarchy. But the truth of the matter is that like most polygamists, Kody had a partner, and his partner was Meri. Meri was his ride or die, his bottom chick, the whole nine. She was the one who helped to establish and help him to establish his family and the Brown collective. Now, when rubber meets the road, there's a certain loyalty that goes into the idea that you help to start something and you help to create something, especially when you look at it from the perspective or through the lens of I helped to create this organization out of whole cloth and nothing. From Meri's perspective, she was all in. For a lot of years, in the description of both Christine and Janelle, and to a smaller part, Robin, they described Meri as kind of being the cock of the walk. She would walk around the house. She felt like she was the boss. She felt like she was the first wife out of all the wives up until the first season of Sister Wives. Meri was the only legal wife that Kody had. So she enjoyed that position. Then, if you notice, there was a point where Meri had been catfished. I really don't like to refer to it as the catfish incident, which Meri and the Browns tend to do, because it's just a reminder of how Meri tried to leave and she failed. But what was the catfish incident really? When I look at the catfish incident, I take into account that nothing happens in a vacuum. What that means is what was going on around the time that Meri got catfished. Meri had just been asked to divorce her husband of 20 plus years so that he could marry another woman and adopt her children. At the time of the divorce, not only was Meri realizing that she was giving up her legal standing as far as the relationship was concerned, but she also recognized that Kody at the time wasn't treating her well. He had already started to pull away from her. They weren't associating or dealing with each other in a positive, healthy way, which I don't think it was ever positive or healthy, but whatever. And it started in that change and in that metamorphosis when he was starting to draw closer to Robin and he started to become more about Robin, then all of a sudden she felt lost and she felt vulnerable. So when she fell victim to the catfish incident, I don't think that Meri was actually trying to leave. For a long time, Kody had blamed the catfish incident as to why he doesn't deal or associate with Meri on a daily basis, because he felt betrayed and he felt like she turned her back on him and she was trying to leave him, or in his words, she was trying to leave my ass for a richer guy. But when push comes down to shove, if you really think about it, I don't think Meri was actually ever planning on leaving. I don't think Meri was actually looking forward to departing from the Brown family. What I think Meri was doing was she was trying to prove to Kody that she was attractive, worthwhile, that she was interesting, other men were interested in him. And for once, Meri wanted to have a situation where Kody was jealous of her as opposed to her being jealous of the other wives, especially Robin. With that being said, Kody took full advantage of the opportunity to continuously bash and downgrade Meri, not only to Meri, but to the other wives. And in that instance, Meri became the example. That was something that Kody could point to and say, you see, Meri, she went out and she tried to leave here. And when she left, she didn't have anybody She was going to turn her back on the family. And she got out there and she realized that there's nothing better than the family. The only thing that's out there beyond the family is pain, hurt, despair, loneliness. So she needs to stay here. And if you other wives are ever thinking about leaving, use Meri as an example. Let her be your example of why you don't want to leave the Brown family, because there's nothing better than being married to me. And that's how Kody used that experience. And he tried to beat down his other wives using Meri. The problem is that Kody actually took it a step too far. There were two other side effects from Meri leaving, and two other examples that Meri set. The first example was Meri established that you could actually leave this situation. Sometimes when you go to the pool and you're a kid and you get to the pool and the water look cold and it looks so cold and it's so scary. But then you have one friend who runs out and dives in and you say, okay, well, it doesn't look that bad. And then all of a sudden, one by one, you go out there. The same thing with parties. You go to a party, dance floor empty. When you're a kid, the dance floor empty, girls on one side, boys on the other side, and then nobody's dancing. And it takes one brave soul to walk across the room and say, hey, would you like to dance? And of course he says yes. No, but it takes one brave soul to walk across the room and ask somebody else to dance. And then when they go out there and start dancing, then all of a sudden everybody else starts filtering out to the floor, and then all of a sudden you got a party. That's what happened here. Meri opened the door for the possibility that this could happen. The third example that Meri set, and said it very effectively, was when Meri was with Kody and they had that falling out, and Kody started to isolate her away from the family and started mistreating her and basically told her that they were going to have a loveless, vacuous, and name-only marriage. At that point, the other wives were paying attention. See, that's something that Kody just doesn't understand, because Kody doesn't pay attention and he can only understand his own perspective. He only sees how he feels and how things affect him, but he doesn't pay attention to how things may be perceived by other people. And that's where he failed, because not only did they see that you could leave, but they saw if you leave and you come back, this is how you can be treated. Okay, but they also saw, and this is more directed at Christine, what she saw was, if he says that you're going to have a loveless relationship, Meri's life will be Christine's life. And at that moment is where Christine, I think, decided that she had enough and she was going to hat up. And because she doesn't want to be in a situation, and she even said it, she never want to be in a situation where she's like Meri. I don't even think that Christine was trying to be nasty to Meri. She was just simply saying, I don't know how Meri does it. I can't do it. So I want to get off this train. I'm getting off. This is my stop. And Kody can't handle it. He's going crazy. See, Meri is a critical part. And ironically, it's the person who set the standard, the role model or the model wife. Deion Sanders had something clever that he has said, Neon Deion. He said that he's not a role model, but he's a model playing a role. And I think that that's applicable to Meri in this situation. Meri isn't the role model wife. She isn't the ideal sister wife, but she's a model playing the role. And she was playing that role until she couldn't play that role anymore, until Kody fired her. I think that Meri's contribution to the family isn't just the fact that she contributed into the creation and the genesis of the Brown family, but her contribution in showing the other wives that you can be free and you can be happy. For a brief moment when Meri was on those conversations, she felt a little taste of freedom. My hope for Meri is that you recognize the fact that you don't have to sit and be miserable. Life is too short for you to sit and be miserable with somebody who doesn't want to be around you. Don't waste your time wanting somebody who doesn't want you. That's my take. I'm James, and this is my take on reality. And I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.